So as is usually customary on this channel, the old coot here coming back at you with another exciting video. I usually suicide a couple of these, meaning I mix the two together. So let's mix together the Azzurro and the Rosso Amaro and see what happens. So France meet Italy, Italy meet France. Here we go. We're going to combine the two together and see how they taste. I encourage you to watch the videos that were prior to this one to see how we got to this point. But giving this just a quick little start here, I'm just curious to see how they would taste together. And then we'll get into the nuances of both. So here we go. Let's give it a quick taste. Very refreshing, very summertime, springtime, that kind of vibe. I would say, if you saw the videos prior to this one, I would say this is definitely more of the bitter of the two. So like if you were a bartender, you were trying to figure out what can I mix that isn't as sweet or whatever, I would say this is very similar to Aperol, if not Aperol's like maybe older cousin. Like just imagine if Aperol went to college for a couple years and became a sophomore or junior and kind of got a little more developed. That's how I would describe the Rosso Amaro. It is 25% alcohol by volume, as you can see. It's an Italian product that's imported into Connecticut, right? Is that right? Yeah, Stamford, Connecticut. As you can see there's the backside of water, the label, all that good stuff. But what you're getting here in this one alone is you're getting about 70% bitter, maybe 30% sweet, even more 75% bitter. But I'm definitely tasting the bitterness that I believe there's gentian in there is what it kind of tastes like. Bitter, some other type of bitterant that's in there as well. You're getting some citrus notes. You're getting a little bit of like straight orange. You're getting some grapefruit in there. Not spice. There's no spice in this. Also, there's no like alpiney stuff like a Fernet would be or a Fernet would be or any of that kind of stuff. But no, it's really good on its own. Then this one, the Azzurro, what this one is this is more orange. I would say this is like almost like, what is it? Shit, I forgot the name of it. But there's a orange liqueur that also comes from Dom something or other that comes from France as well, I believe. And you kind of get that kind of that bitter taste. Dom Benedictine. It took me a while to figure out. I was halfway running to go check my bottles to see if I had it. But yeah, this is very much like Dom Benedictine is how I would describe this. But it's 25% alcohol by volume, right? I think Dom Benedictine is a little bit stronger. So it's kind of like the junior, right? Little sophomoric of Dom Benedictine, but very orangey, not quite like a blood orange would be, but definitely orange. On the nose, it had a very strong orange odor to it or smell to it. Very pleasant, very nice, very refreshing. Again, very springtime, very summer, that kind of a vibe to it. No spice. There wasn't any spice in here either. But I would say when I mixed the two together, right, Italy meet France, France meet Italy, I would say it's a good combination. It's kind of like mixing Montenegro and Aperol. That's basically how I would describe it. So basically, short end of the story is if you have the money and you can spring for it and you want Dom Benedictine, go for it. Also, Montenegro. This is very similar to like a Montenegro with just a little bit less spice. Montenegro has just a touch of spice in it. This one, not as much. I don't get any spice at all. It's just more of orange, just really, really orange base. Like I would say 80% orange, maybe 10 to 20% of a mix of just other citrus fruits like grapefruit, maybe a little bit of some lime leaf in there. There's something going on in there, but definitely orange forward is how I would describe it. In terms of bitter to sweet, this one I would say is more 55% sweet, maybe 45% bitter, whereas this one is definitely 80% bitter, 75% bitter, maybe as low as like 70% bitter, somewhere in there. So if you're a bartender, a mixologist, you're looking for something to substitute, mix, play around with, that kind of stuff, maybe your specific bar doesn't have Dom Benedictine or Montenegro, boom, you can go for this. It's a less expensive version of both of those. This one is definitely an Aperol equivalent, just like one notch higher than Aperol would be. I would say Aperol would be here. This would be here. The next level up from here would probably be something like a Grand Classico from Tempus Fugit. But anyways, two great tastes on their own individually. They tasted great together. You know, put a sprig of mint in there. Maybe you've got a nice little cooler wine chill. You know, not sorry, bad choice of words. Not a wine chiller, but something very summery. I mixed it with a little bit of club soda or Italian soda, mineral water, that kind of vibe, just to kind of take the alcohol bite off of it, so I can actually taste what's going on in there. That's why I do that. But anyways, I'm getting a little tipsy because I've been drinking all day. I'm the old coot. There are links down below in the description, also in the comment section. Make sure to check those out. And I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.